item to approve, Improvement and Services Committee for Wednesday, September 13th. It is good to be back. I missed you guys terribly. Roll call, we have Alder Campbell,
Pledge of allegiance,
Say
yes.
yes.
we have Alder Eck,
Yes.
and we have
Here.
Alder Weary, Alder Stoyer, I'm here as well. I would look for an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion? Yes,
Second.
motion by Eck, seconded by Weary. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously.
We forgot to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hear me?
Let's do it. Yes, I apologize for that. Thank you, Alder Campbell. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm a little rusty. All right, so approval of the minutes. I'd like a motion for that.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Eck,
Second.
seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Regular business, number 1, consideration with possible action and request by the Village of Ashwaubenon to enter into an agreement for City of Green Bay to maintain their traffic signalized intersections or record.
This is a similar kind of request to that which we entertained with the city of De Pere. Ashwaubenon does not have a staff large enough to accommodate having on-staff full-time electricians, whereas we do. So we don't have the formal agreement itself drafted yet, but if approved, the agreement would be similar to the existing traffic signal maintenance we have with the city of De Pere. It would be for routine maintenance and emergency repair of their existing traffic signalized intersections owned by the village. We would not participate in any of their traffic signal construction contracts or reconstruction contracts. This is simply for emergency on-call maintenance of their own signals. This also does not apply to county-owned signals that exist within the city or the village of Ashwaubenon. Ashwaubenon would reimburse the city for all time, materials, and equipment usage involved in the proposed agreement. This is something that we have been, again, doing with De Pere, and we see the benefit of it. I just had a conversation with their public works director on Monday, and one of the side benefits to an arrangement like this is keeping all of the municipalities on standardized equipment for traffic signal operations, so that as we move forward with modernization and replacement, we can work collaboratively with other governmental entities to do joint contracting on purchase of equipment and help keep costs down. So the standardization part of it is a side benefit, not directly related to this, but something that definitely helps out as well.
I just have a quick point here. So how many intersections or lights are we really looking at here? I realize it's on a case-by-case basis for this, but
Ashwaubenon owns itself 11 traffic signals.
11, okay.
There's more than that in Ashwaubenon, but I think there's like 15 more,
That are-
on NIDA, but those are all county. We wouldn't
Right.
be involved in the county.
So with De Pere, we're doing that with De Pere? How
De
many?
Pere also has 11, ironically.
So have we helped them out that often over the last year or two?
I would say on average, probably once every 3 weeks, we're doing something for them. Even if it's just, hey, we got a burned out light bulb, or this pedestrian timing isn't right. And could you take a look at it, something's wrong.
So the projects haven't been all that complicated per se?
No, nothing more complicated than something the city of Green Bay would get called. Hey, I don't think that a left turn detection is working here because the arrow never comes up. So our guys will go out, take a look at it, and replace the widget that went bad.
Okay. Committee, Alder Eck?
So I just to clarify, and it sounds like it's the case, that we're not coming in on the losing end of this, that it's covering the cost, or maybe even a little more?
Well, we're covering the costs.
Okay.
And if it winds up if it winds up that the work that we're doing in another municipality winds up on overtime, then they're paying the overtime rates.
Okay.
Some goodwill between communities, maybe.
Yes.
Is it a raise?
Anybody else?
Move to approve. No,
Alder-
one more question.
Alder Campbell?
Just- and somewhat related, so the recent retired traffic guy,
engineer.
Is he associated
Dave
with
Hansen?
this? And did we replace, I know it ain't, but is this part of what his job was too?
No,
No.
no,
is
Traffic.
this is directly
Maintenance.
related to our electricians as opposed to
Okay.
the traffic.
Field, yeah, this is field electrician work.
Okay, just wondered if we were just covering leftovers here.
Seconding his motion.
So we have a motion by Weary and a second by Eck to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Please say aye. Okay. All opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, number 2, is consideration with possible action on proposed 2024 parking division rate structure. Director?
Each year, we bring to you our proposal for the parking division rates and fees. That includes what our proposal is for ramp monthly rental rates, including volume discounting, our on-street meter rates, citations, and surface ramp, or surface lot rental rates. Just a reminder to the committee that parking division is a special revenue fund, so all the revenue we generate here is what's necessary for us to close our budget on a yearly basis. This is how we fund the parking division. Operations manager or director of parking manager Chris Pierlot is here to answer any specific questions. Chris has prepared the memo that we included in the packet for you. The conclusions and recommendations are the meat of what we have here. So based on our history, what we see as parking trends coming out of COVID and reestablishing normality in our downtown again, what we are proposing is effective January 1st of 2024 to increase our ramp rental rates 3% rounded up to the nearest dime. By way of comparison, rental rates were at a 5% increase last year, so we're only proposing a 3% increase this year. Increase the meter rate to $1 an hour. That was last increased up to 95 cents in 2022. Maintain the Adams Street surface lot and river ramp hourly parking rate at $1.10 per hour. To increase the parking ramp hourly rate to $1 per hour. The ramp hourly rate was last increased up to 85 cents an hour in 2019. Maintain the parking citation rates, overtime and expired meter, $22, no parking on-street, overnight on-street parking, $32, no stopping or standing violations, violation of a hydrant, fire lane, or bus stop, $42, late fee for 1 week, $12 added to the citation value, and a 1 month late fee, $22 added to the citation fee and the $12 late fee. As Chris has indicated in the last paragraph of the memo, it is critical that we look at these rates at this time, and staff is recommending adoption. These are the numbers we have used to project our 2024 budget that we'll be bringing forward. So with that, we will.
I got one question. Okay, thank you, Steve. And Chris, you can chime in for this too. So the monies that we are, what will happen is over time with this budget that monies will be coming in, et cetera. We're looking to cover the budget for the division. Will there be much more above that? Are you planning? And if so, will that just go back into?
Really, the money left in above would depend on, the actual numbers at the end of the year.
Right.
Right now, there's a little bit, I don't remember, it's a couple tens of thousands, not a lot for parking
Right,
division compared to the total budget. That would possibly go into the capital reserve account at the end of the year. There are two reserve accounts. The capital reserve, that's the rainy day fund, if you will. That's excess, if you want to call it that you realize at the end of the year that goes into the savings account, rainy day account. And then we have a vehicle capital reserve account for vehicles and equipment. We have a vehicle replacement plan set out for, years in the future like we normally do for capital plans. And that gets funded every year out of the regular budget. So out of this operating budget. So we program X dollars to go to replenish that vehicle fund, because we got to keep the vehicles being replaced, not falling apart. So I hope that.
Well,
No,
with that, another way to look at this, we try to keep our rental rates and our meter rates, that, you know, the charges that we're doing on even nickel or dime increments, as opposed to charging 87 cents per hour at a meter. That would be very difficult, okay? So when you're doing that, we're structuring the rates to try to get the income projected to be as close to our anticipated expenses as possible, but you always want to estimate a little over. So if the parking division budget is about $2.7 million, and with those rates, by juggling those numbers and trying to estimate where we need to come in, if we wind up 35,000 out of 2.9 million, 2.7 million, okay, that extra money then goes into the capital reserve account. That capital reserve account is used for a multitude of things. First and foremost, that's also the same fund that we use for capital projects. So if we have to, and we may have to replace an elevator in the Cherry Street ramp, typically we would bond money and put it into that account, but if we've been saving money all along, that lessens our amount that we have to borrow. When we entered COVID and parking occupancy in the ramps fell, we actually tapped that account to keep the parking division solvent throughout the 2 years of COVID. So it was nice that we had that rainy day account to help us out when we didn't have the parkers downtown to meet our budget numbers.
In the first year of COVID, just as an FYI, side note, we tapped that account to the tune of over $100,000. Because people disappeared from
They
the
weren't
workplace
parking.
and started working from home.
Right, so, with that being said, then the money's, how can I say it, no, I'm good with that. I lost my train. All right?
And I'm assuming that's why there was that 5% increase in 2023. So I'm glad to see that we're going back down.
Me too.
So I like that. And that's basically all I have to say.
Anybody else, committee? Otherwise,
I'm
I'd
just gonna
entertain a
make-
motion. No, looks good.
Make a motion
Yeah,
to
I
approve.
appreciate the efforts very much.
Chris is the king of memos. Always well put together.
It's a long one. And I motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Act, seconded by Weary. Any other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And again, these go to City Council next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Audience?
Yes. Because we always have so many people
Yeah,
in our audience.
you never know. All right, thank you for your efforts on that. Okay, number 3, consideration with possible action on report for the 2024 Department of Public Works Equipment Acquisition Plan.
So every year we bring to you, exclusive of the budget and exclusive of a capital improvement plan, our equipment replacement plan. And this details the equipment that we anticipate either replacing, adding new to the fleet, or so it's our equipment account and our equipment replacement repair accounts for our levy supported division and operations, our sanitary utility, our storm utility, and our parking division, which is special revenue funded. So we've got a 2-page document here. We'll start off with the operations division capital account. Again, this is subject to the bond issue. So what you see are 15 pieces of equipment that we have included in our request for the capital improvement program. That discussion started last night at Finance Committee. So these are included in the packet that we sent to Finance. So would you like me to go through the individual pieces, or? Okay.
Committee, do you have any questions?
The next item that we have is our sanitary sewer replacement capital equipment account. Little spoiler, the first item there, that 1-ton pickup truck, we're going to be talking about that later.
8-ton or 10-ton?
These come out of the user fees for the sanitary district. So every year with the sanitary district, they are putting money away looking at capital this year. But again, stormwater utility, much like sanitary, puts money away every year based on depreciation value of those assets, so that they have the money in hand when it comes time to buy that equipment or replace that equipment. Parking division for the equipment vehicle account, so Chris talked to you about the cap reserve account. That's where the elevator doors are coming out of cap reserve. In the cap vehicle or equipment account for parking, we're looking at replacing our ticket writer equipment. Then under the second page is actually items that are in our operating budget. So you will see these as line items within the budget during budget discussion. So we've got the 3 pieces of equipment for motor equipment under operations division. Street and sanitation are each looking for 8-foot box plows. As opposed to a curved plow blade, it's more like a box that a lot of times we use them on front end loaders. So that's what a box plow is. The electrical division, we are looking to replace a PC. Now it's $5,500, doesn't sound like a lot, but it's over $5,000, so we do need to list that out individually. The laptop that our electricians are using, I think, is running Windows 7.
2012.
So,
Put that in the museum.
2012. Traffic is not requesting any new equipment this year, probably because Mr. Hanson left before we put together the budget request.
Oh, okay.
I get to pick on Dave, he's not here today.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Then under materials and supplies for sewage district, we got a new CCTV cable reel and replacing some little cleaning and jetting hoses. That cost is split between the sanitary and storm utility, so that's why you're seeing it in both utilities. And then parking division is also looking for an 8-foot box plow. So this is what we are proposing for acquisition or replacement this year. Staff recommendation would be to approve the plan and forward on to the appropriate authority for acquisition. So what that means is for anything that's in the bond request, we would seek approval from the Finance Committee and Council to have that bonded for, and anything that would be part of our budget, seek approval through the Common Council, but to include it in our budget proposal.
Steve, well, Alder Campbell, go ahead.
So I just got a question, second year in this and going through the budget and stuff like that. So when you come to us during the course of the year and say, we need this, is this coming off of this grocery list?
Yes.
This is the first step, and then those are the acquisitions.
Grocery list.
After they get.
Well, it's what it is, right? It's
Well-
a supply list, it's a, but
Correct.
you're bonding for it, so we know, where is it coming from? Well, it's coming from what we talked about
Some
going
are
into.
not.
You're absolutely correct. When we come to you and we say that we got quotes or we came off of the government services contract or Sourcewell or what have you, and we're replacing a dump truck, we're looking to purchase a plow and wing.
Yeah,
This was part of the equipment plan that you approved last year. That's the equipment plan we're
this is
talking
just the
about.
vague
Yep,
approximate.
So we should
Correct.
print it and then compare and mark it off.
Right,
we do.
It does get.
We actually do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure you do. I hadn't, but maybe I
Did you have a
should.
question? Go ahead, Alder.
Hi, thanks, Mr. Chairman.
time, right?
I know there was talk about changing when we do our budgeting or bonding.
Yep.
Are we doing that now instead of, it's been getting later and later, it seems like, May, June.
They had the preliminary discussions on it last night at finance. It was held because we talked about expenses last night. Then they want finance department to come back and talk about the sources of revenue that will pay for that. How much of it is ARPA, how much of it is grant funded, how much of it is going to be bonded for. So that discussion is ongoing right now with the finance committee.
It seemed like years ago, we would start doing this in like January with the February approval, and then it got to be February, March, and then it was kind of March, April. And by the time you get stuff, it's almost the following year already, so.
Correct.
So hopefully we can start pulling that back a little.
That's exactly
Good.
what the
All right.
intent is. Yes, you're correct.
And this is just the initial kicker, not that
Right.
some things might get trimmed off here later if need be,
Absolutely.
but, okay.
I had one, just real quick.
Okay.
I was looking at this thing with parking division, with the elevator doors. When it gets down, and maybe this is the wrong area to talk about it, but like when there's an elevator that's had problems or out, does that come from another, let's say Cherry Street, for example, or the elevator that's not working?
That would come out of here.
Right, was there anything with that as far as what's going on with
A little bit
that?
of report unless you want to.
No, go
I
ahead.
mean, you can reiterate that if you could.
Unfortunately, the Cherry Street ramp, south elevator, there's two elevators, north and south, has been out of commission since February of '22. We are not happy about that. No one's happy about that.
Right.
I just filled it in the mirror just last week. We finally got a final answer. Kone Elevator Services, this is our contracted elevator service. Schindler Elevator Company is the manufacturer of that. Schindler really wanted to be our maintenance people, but it's a competitive quote. Kone came in. Kone's done their best with their engineering people, their service people, to try to fix that elevator. A lot of parts come from overseas, so you got the supply chain issue. They've had issues ordering parts, not getting the right parts, then ordering parts, and those weren't the parts that they needed to fix it. It's just been a continuous nightmare for
No, I can
over a
understand
year.
that, but I'm just, was there a light?
Got it down to now, they found out it needs brakes. The elevators do have brakes to help stop and lock at the right levels, which is good because you don't want it to be good to the last drop, like coffee, but. And our models are the A400, Schindler A400. We were the first to have those models installed anywhere, especially in an outdoor structure like a parking ramp. They don't make them anymore. Schindler doesn't service them anymore. They were looking to try to get the existing brake shoes relined. They finally said, no, you can't do that. So we just found this out last week. That's why it's not on here, and I apologize. I'm gonna say 99% chance there's gonna be a request from Parking Division to bond about $400,000 to replace that elevator.
I mean, as far as angst with, 6 floors and that, I mean,
Right.
that's a problem for some folks. You also, the Vic Theater has been purchased, and they're gonna be restoring that. That's gonna be a performance venue, and you're gonna have a lot of folks added to the mix. So, anyway.
For parking.
For
right?
parking.
For parking.
I was gonna say, let's break on through to the other side and get some doors, but that's a different story.
Okay.
And it is
I don't have
unfortunate because the Cherry
Tangent.
ramp is only 18 years
Tangent.
old, and that elevator is not serviced. Well, they can be serviced, but certain parts aren't available anymore. So it's going out of style. But Pine and Main Street ramps are vintage 76, 77. Those could still be repaired.
And they're older, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just wanted to bring it up because I know that's been a concern, and I know it's a concern for everybody here, but I'm just, we just keep striving and try to get something done with that. As far as this goes, committee, do you have any points on this?
I just got one point.
Go ahead.
Personally, I get to see a lot of new equipment that comes out in 27 years in the business, and right now I'm getting plagued with, I'm glad not I sold to it, but it's a new product, and I always like to let it sail for about a year and let them work the kinks out, because I don't need a whole bunch of unhappy customers that spend thousands of dollars and then I'm trying to just fix. But this sounds exactly what I go through, and sometimes you just, new isn't always better.
Right.
Just that comment, that's all. And does the company stand behind it,
Schindler's a very reputable company, but this was a new design that their benefits were sold to us. I'm not saying that it was a bill of goods, but
Yeah.
it was supposed to be the new and improved, bigger and better at the time the ramp was built.
The key was, we were the first ones.
Right. We were
Yeah.
the big.
Right.
We're the pioneers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the right.
Well, for some reason, it's showing E2 as what we're on right now, so I know that's not accurate, is it?
What are we doing?
At the bottom it's showing E2 on mine, so I just wanted to make sure.
I think if you refresh, mine was saying that too.
Refresh? Okay.
Yeah. But mine was showing that too.
Okay, it went to the next
Yeah, I
thing.
don't know
It's
why.
weird how that
We're on-
doesn't do that on mine.
I'm on,
And just one more question on the elevators before we
Yeah,
get
go
out of
ahead.
here, before we get off the elevator. Do we really need two? If we've
Yes.
gone this far?
well,
And
it's a
why?
big ramp.
Go in there sometime.
Well,
It's very convenient.
believe me when I say we are getting significant complaints about the lack of the second elevator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a big structure.
all right.
The structure is middle in our capacity. Maine has 681 stalls, Cherry has 800, and Pine has 1,843, and we have how many elevators in Pine?
Pine has 6.
6. So, yeah, for an 800 capacity, 2 is actually a little on the light side. Down to 1, it's been problematic.
Big bang for
Make a motion to approve as Director Grenier had
Okay, motion
stated.
by Weary, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Heck, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Thanks for your work on this, gentlemen. And let's see, okay. Moving to number 4. Consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to enter into an intergovernmental cooperative agreement with Brown County for 2024.
In the packet, we have provided you with a copy of a resolution that we propose to go forward in front of common council next week. This is an annual resolution that that the member municipalities pass each year, which identifies Brown County as the responsible unit for recycling in the state of Wisconsin, makes us eligible for our recycling grants. So this is an agreement that we have used for a number of years. It's something that does benefit the city and helps us get our recycling grants from the state. So staff does recommend approval and to place this as a resolution on the common council agenda for next week.
Does this,
Motion.
oh, no, real quick, does this change depending on what county, this is the tri-state, correct?
Correct.
So like Winnebago
Tri-county.
County, would they have to do this and then?
No, this is something specifically for the municipalities within Brown County, working with
I
Brown
see.
County as our
All right,
responsibility.
so this is consistent with that. All right.
Correct.
And I remember we did this last year,
Yep.
Yep.
so motion to approve.
Alder Eck approves.
Second.
Do we have a second by Campbell? Or was that you? Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you for your work on that, Steve. Let's see, number 5, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a 3-way professional services agreement with WisDOT and TBD Consultant for the design of the Manitowoc Road sidewalk.
You may remember several months ago, we brought forward a state municipal agreement between the city of Green Bay and Wisconsin Department of Transportation for a Transportation Alternatives Program TAP-funded sidewalk on Manitowoc Road and Manitowoc, Pecan, and Wilder? Hemlock. As part of that, we have to have that sidewalk designed. Our staff does not maintain familiarity with the WisDOT design process, so we typically will farm that out to a consultant. Proposals were put together and submitted. The way that we have to do it, because of the cost on this one, we actually went out to full list, right? So we sent proposals out to over 230 engineering firms across the state of Wisconsin, asking for proposals. We received 5 proposals back.
Wow.
The 5 proposals are the 5 firms that are listed in the packet. We put together a scoring matrix that looked at the quality of the proposal. Internally, Assistant Director Burnett, Assistant City Engineer Trista Hobbs, and Project Engineer Ting Thompson Egan were the scorers. So there's actually numerical values associated with each of the questions. The rating came out that Grave had the highest composite rating, so staff is recommending entering into the 3-party agreement between us, WisDOT, and Grave for the design. It is something we want to make sure we tell you about, that according to WisDOT solicitation requirements, when we do a proposal selection like this, cost is not included. We are not allowed to discuss cost. So you select your engineering services on a quality-based selection using tools that WisDOT makes available to you. Once you have a consultant selected, then WisDOT will sit down and negotiate cost with them based on their cost parameters that they have for consultant services. So cost was not a factor in this. I want to be very, very clear with you up front on that.
Well, it was, I couldn't see it in the chart, so I
Correct.
figured there was a reason.
Anybody committed? Alder
No,
Weary?
I'll make a motion to approve a 3-way agreement.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you for that. All right, number 6. Consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works seeking authorization to place an order for a 2024 one-ton chassis with flatbed body to replace a 3/4-ton pickup truck, Unit 190. Director.
So when we were talking about the equipment plan, I told you we were gonna be talking about a replacement with a one-ton truck. This is it. So again, this is gonna be for our utilities division. I believe this one is being funded out of the sanitary fund. We have an existing 3/4-ton pickup truck that's beyond its useful service life. In working through the utilities, they have determined that a 1-ton flatbed truck would be more appropriate, so the replacement for the 3/4-ton would be the 1-ton flatbed. Typically, we would wait until after the budget is approved and seek approval, but due to delays in how long it takes to get a vehicle, we actually, our fleet manager, Nathan Wachtendonk, has found that the best success, or the best opportunity for success that we have is working directly with the manufacturers and our local suppliers and securing what's known as a spot on their build list. So it's kind of like a reservation. You're pre-ordering a vehicle, if you want to think of it that way, in the hopes that we actually get it in the calendar year that we want it. So Nathan was able to find a vehicle that met the specifications, and we would like to order that vehicle. Again, because of how sanitary and storm set money aside throughout the course of the life of the vehicle, there's actually money in the account already to pay for it. We would not pay for the vehicle until 2024 because it would be approved as a 2024 purchase. But what we want to do is make the order, get our name on the truck so it's ready for us in 24 when it's constructed.
So that just for that one truck, how many of these do we have in the fleet right now? Quite a few.
3/4-ton pickups,
Well, just ballpark.
30,
Yeah.
40.
All right.
Motion to approve?
Motion by
Second.
Eck, seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. So, okay, number 7, report of actions taken by the Department of Public Works, granting of licenses. We got sidewalk builder and tree and brush trimmer. We'll lump them together.
Sure.
Or, yeah, we've done that before, so. Director?
Again, these are licenses that we have approved at a staff level, so we're just informing you of that. Request that you receive and place on file the report of action.
Make a motion to receive and place on file.
By Eck, we have a second by Campbell. Any other
Second.
discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All
Is that what
opposed?
that was? That was your second?
That was a second.
There's a question.
Oh.
Before you jump the gun. That's okay.
That was a question? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, all the rear usually looks, and then I give them that. Okay. Sorry.
Go
He's
ahead.
on practice. It's all right.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Say, have you worked with SDA before? Or
Is
is
that
it
a
no?
recur, or is that a reason, or to the best of your knowledge? Or a new one?
These are probably new. I don't recognize the name.
That name is not familiar to me, so it may be a new contractor.
I just see him around town a little bit more now than I used to.
Okay.
It's kind of rural, but I don't know the guy.
Are you good? Moving
I'm good.
forward.
What we have found is, especially the sidewalk builders, we typically maintain a list of about 30 or so that have licenses with us. And even with that, residents are oftentimes challenged to find a sidewalk builder who has availability to do work in the city for them. So trying to find and maintain a larger list of licensed builders is something that's in our best interest. We'd like to have one.
Good.
All right.
Well, I think we suggested this, other things too, you know, like, I know roofing guys, well, no one turns in a bid on the roof. I asked the mayor, I'm like, hey, I know a couple people that have pretty legitimate, they're not the giant contractors, but they're pretty big, you know, but they might want to stab at it. Or the park and the pavilion, you know, when you're not getting a bid on it, you gotta, this is a good example of it right there. That's all I'm saying.
Is there a general process, but, you know, like, a lot of times bids go out to all these various contractors. Is there a set list? Do you try to reach out as widely as you can?
We can't do that. We have to publicly bid it,
Publicly.
publicly notice it with a class 2 notice
So everybody's got a chance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So how do they get their name in the city so that they get,
Read the notice.
Yeah.
I know, but if they're rural, they don't probably get a notice, you know, unless they go looking for it.
When they become a subscriber of Quest CDN, which is our bidding
Oh,
service,
okay.
when you become a member of Quest, and becoming a member is free, so there's not a cost implication. You select the type of contracts that you want to be and when a contract comes out anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, you get notified.
So what is it called?
Quest?
Quest CDN.
And they have to approach you for that?
No, they can register with
CDN.
Quest on their own, yes.
So is that a website?
Quest
Yes.
CDN.
Is that something within the
Yeah,
city?
the state,
Oh, it's a state thing?
Well, actually, Quest CDN is
all the way.
all across the US.
Okay. Well,
Okay, that's good to know.
Patrick, so,
All right. All
See,
right.
people ask me, how do you get the information? How do you get on the list? And I always thought, did they have to be bonded with the city?
Before we will accept a bid on behalf of a contractor, if they go to the city's website under DPW Engineering, there is a link there for a bidder's proof of responsibility. So they have to download a bidder's proof of responsibility, fill that out, submit it. I know we've had some contractors express some concerns because we do require financial analysis. We want to make sure that financially a contractor is in good standing. And a lot of times there are folks who are nervous about sharing that information.
Sure.
And what we have always told them is that information comes to Jim's desk. I don't even see it anymore. Jim sees it, he looks at the financials, he discusses them with the finance director, and that's the only two people in the entire city of Green Bay who ever seen that.
No
So
pressure.
we want to make sure that when we're telling people we are being responsible with their financial data, that we are. We're not sharing that, we're not walking around talking to people. It goes to Jim, to the finance director, and it's that.
Okay, thanks for the information.
All right. So we need a motion on that to receive and place on file?
You got a motion in a second.
No, we
Yeah,
did.
we're down
Thank
to
you.
Yeah, that's right.
informational
Sorry.
directors.
That's right, you did your little finger thing. Okay. Sorry about that.
I can bring rubber bands.
Next meeting. All right, informational, director's report on recent activities of the Public Works Department.
Okay, only two things that I want to share with you tonight, both of them coming up in the very near future. Curbside bulk collection is going to be the week of September 25th through September 29th. We have made announcements on that on social media, and it's part of the city's website. Just today, I think, I got the email from Beth. We have set the dates for fall loose leaf collection, and we anticipate fall loose leaf collection beginning the week of October 9th and running through November 24th. I know we always get
We'll have to
discussion
from the
late in the
trees.
year about can't we go longer? The problems that we have is after Thanksgiving, we do need some time. It takes about 3 weeks, top to bottom, to get the fleet converted over for winter duty, because we use the same pieces of equipment for fall loose leaf as we do for plowing, and we don't want to get caught with an early December snowstorm and only have all of our stuff set up for leaves and not be able to plow. So that's why we don't go longer. If we can, with the other equipment that we have, our loaders and our pans, if we can continue to collect and there's still material out there, we will pick away, but what we can't do is guarantee that we will make a citywide sweep after November 24th.
Okay.
So meteorologist Grenier, did we actually get to a freeze point last night? 'Cause that'll help, right?
I
Couldn't have, 'cause
I
tomatoes
did
are
not
fine.
hear anything from National Weather Service
My
actually
tomatoes
putting
are
us
fine,
below
twins.
32 degrees here. However, I have started tapping my weather network here and working my way out to the west coast. All indications that we are hearing right now is we are anticipating colder than normal winter with heavier than average snowfall. So we are gearing up for a long winter.
So would you be willing to go on record?
Depressing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our prediction is we're going to be heavy.
I always thought the weatherman in Green Bay's got it made. All he's gotta do is call Minneapolis and say, yeah, it'll be here and whatever, you know?
Minneapolis to Green Bay is somewhere between 6.5 and 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
Wausau is about 3.
Okay. was there another point you were
Motion to
gonna make, too?
receive,
Was that it?
The two were curbside
That
ball
was it?
collection and fall loose.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Can I throw one thing here? Hold on. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
It's-
glad to
you're
have
the
you
chair.
back.
Yeah, I know, I gotta go, I'm the chair, so, hey, can I do it? Yes, all right. I have to remind myself.
You recognize yourself?
He's having a conversation with himself.
You got demoted, man. You got demoted. We're all,
If the
we're
chair
fired
looks
up,
and
man.
says, it's good to be the king,
Oh,
Heavy as the head, Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my head. Anyway, besides that, I had a chance to talk with Steve in his office last week about a number of things, and I know you can just maybe reiterate that when we're talking about the wheel tax and, you know, what it may go for, different things related to that. I don't know, you mentioned that we have to wait on a certain, you know, as far as letting the committee know where we're at, because I know Alder Weary has talked about that as well.
Well, usually every year, close to the end of the year, right around December, or so we do bring in a report to you identifying what this, how much money came into the wheel tax account and then what it was spent on. When that local vehicle registration fee was enacted by the common council, there is a laundry list of allowable uses. We have not utilized many of them. We've concentrated most of that effort on the maintenance programming, which is crack sealing and blacktop materials, and the bulk of has gone into resurfacing and reconstruction, so the program expansion. That's historically where we have put that money, because that is the direction that the common council and the committee have given to us. I know there has been some outreach from a couple of alders to start taking a look at some of the currently unfunded programs that are getting delinquent because of the lack of funding, like railroad crossings and alleys. Again, we can bring forward a proposal to you, but ultimately, it is the committee and the council who has given us the direction on where to concentrate those funds.
But initially, we kind of did it through this committee, and then it went to council.
Correct.
Right. So that is of interest to, I think, this committee, and I'm sure we'll wait to hear on that. Committee, anything else?
just one
I have a
question.
motion on the floor, but,
Do what?
I said I have a motion on the floor, so I probably don't have to say it again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I.
So I was in your
Your finger
office,
thing.
I was in your office earlier last week, about alley in my district. That's pretty overgrown and got a lot of blind spots in. So as far as knowledge about alleys, you know, there's a foyer in an alley too? Yes, no? Well, is it, what, on a street, what is it?
Setback?
Terrace.
Setback?
Terrace, I'm sorry.
There are not a lot of terraces and alleys. Typically, alleys are about 12 feet wide, and they generally go right up to the property line.
So,
Right.
I don't remember what her name is, that I talked to, that left the message with you were in a meeting.
Is that a two-way or three-way?
So she said she called inspections for that. So, you know, that wasn't my intent for inspections to do that whole Preble Avenue and tell them to trim all their trees out. So when she said inspections, I didn't get back to her. I think actually she's out of the office till today. That, whose responsibility is it? Is it a city thing to trim them trees out of there?
That would be through, I believe that would be through forestry. If the trees are on public property. If they're private trees, then it becomes private.
If they're hanging over, though.
Yes.
You know, because there's lots of commercial businesses and there's a lot of big trucks. I mean, even my truck driving down there, telephone poles right there. And,
The city
you
will
know,
come in.
Right.
and literally you almost scrape all the different kinds of trees that go down that street. So it was more of a safety concern than anything, not to, but kids and this and that. And some, there's two along that, it's between Elizabeth and, no, the other way. Harvey, not Harvey.
St. George.
Stop it.
What the hell?
Second, first,
You need a
third
map. You
street.
need a map.
It's, I don't remember. Anyway, it's the next street down by the bank. And,
Quincy.
yeah, map. So anyway, that's the concern. So I guess still, I don't know whose responsibility is it. Is it a street condition? Or is it, it's hanging, but everything's
It sounds to
hanging?
me like it's hanging from private property
Right.
over the
Yeah,
alley, that
I would
becomes a
probably
private
say the
property.
majority
which
of it.
Inspections is the appropriate department. at
Oh,
that
boy.
point.
Under certain conditions, if it's really overgrown, historically, forestry department, under Park Rec and Forestry deals predominantly with the terrace trees, the city-owned trees.
Right.
They can and have on occasion gone into alleys, but vastly more often than not, when the city gets involved in trimming, it's street section, DPW, who goes out and trims those if the resident doesn't.
Other than, I
And
know
then-
there's telephone poles in the alley on that side, but I'm sure
That's the challenge.
public service then does some of that trimming with the line
Yeah, they'll trim away from the line.
over the alley to the residential, right? I mean,
Right.
it's why it's gone many, many years like unaddressed. And there's lots of delivery trucks that deliver all the university businesses, so they're huge.
100% complaint based.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too, with WPS two in the backyard, we have pine trees, they came in and just chopped, it looks like a war zone. They just came in, I said, how about making it look nice? And
Oh, no,
They just cut it so that's all. That's another issue.
And then recognizing that Alder Eck has a motion on the floor, one thing I
Yes,
did want to add.
we're getting there.
Okay.
Real quickly, is as you're individually having meetings with the mayor to talk about the budget, and as we continue on through the budget process, I just want to make sure that the invitation is open to all of you. If you've got questions, like Alder Sawyer did, by all means, feel free to give me a call, and we'll have a conversation
I'll
about
be there
it.
tomorrow with the mayor, so if you got any last second things, let me know now.
Thank you. I might as well chime in too, recognizing also that you have a motion on the floor. And no second though, so.
Okay.
We haven't had a
It's gonna
second.
die.
No second.
It's gonna die, we're staying here well, I got cookies if you need them.
I have my granddaughter at my house, but you know.
Okay.
I did meet with the mayor
I
a
didn't eat yet.
day or two ago, and Randy and I always say we team together. It's like-
Yeah, how did that go?
But anyway, that's another story.
I would say,
I think I have 5 of the 6 requests in. You guys need to put requests in. Like, there's like 5 or 6 requests from council members, and 5 of them are mine. But one of them was to take the money
good,
out
a budget.
from the wheel tax and put it back into the budget. The reason thinking, we always say maybe we don't have enough money to actually put towards the streets. Would that help if we found the room? I mean, could it hurt?
Honestly, we're only talking about $270,000. That's really not enough to make a measurable dent in
No,
the
that's
street
good.
program. I do appreciate where you're coming from.
Trying to get you all the extra pennies you can to do another street.
Well, and
Another street.
one of the things that I look at, when I'm looking at the budget, the operating budget, the annual operating budget, when we can pay for things in real time that are not long-term, okay? That's more, we should be, my opinion, we should be using annual money for annual expense. So, with crack sealing and blacktop materials, that's a consumable and annual expense. Whether we can use the operating budget for that, or the way I look at it, the wheel tax money is actual annual money, that's an appropriate place, and because of the fiscal restraints that we've had, if we've got that ability to use some other funding for that, I think it's applicable, it's appropriate.
But if we could find room, let's say 1 year might not be enough, 270,000, but let's say it builds 2 years, now you have 540 or 600,000. Sounds like you could resurface the street with that, right?
Yeah, you're probably looking at a small reconstruction.
All right, I'm just throwing out there, it'll probably be a discussion, I'm sure you saw it.
I did. I had a discussion with the mayor about it as well.
The devil in the details later, so.
You're entirely correct.
I think the challenge for us as alders though is that, I've done this every year, and Chris over time too, is, the department heads, departments, they get their budgets together, you go see the mayor, and we've talked to you sometimes before, even like I talked to you last week. So you go in with your wish list, and eventually it'll, depending on the mayor, what's going on, it'll trim out a bit. We kind of get what's left in a sense, and I don't know if there's another way we can go about it, because I think, Alder Wery had some good ideas, different requests, ahead of time. I presume that those are brought in the hopper, you know, for the department heads as
Well,
well,
and
or not?
I
Is it-
can't speak for other departments, I can tell you that I did discuss the two that
Okay.
Alder Weary provided me.
All right, well, that's good, because I think sometimes we might feel a little left out of the situation, because it's like after the fact, you know.
Sorry,
What's that?
Doug said I had two. and-
Yeah, you did, I can't
Oh,
remember what the
two.
other one was.
Wow.
As in,
All right, we have a motion here, don't we?
We have a motion.
Well, as long as we're all adding in here.
Second.
second.
Yeah, second.
Aye.
No, I could still talk after the second, trust me, no. Just a
vote.
quick, and you mentioned,
Question.
since you're talking about resurfacing and versus replacing, and I guess resurfacing is less expensive and you can get farther, just a thought, right?
Yes.
I need a lot done in my districts, though.
We all
And
have
then
a
we
couple.
down underneath.
Well, and I will tell you that
Yeah, I know, resurface, you can do a lot more.
before you were elected, this year, we had a whole cluster of streets in District 12, up in the Indian Hills area. So we wanted to get in, do that whole neighborhood, and then move on, and not impact it. We did a lot, especially around the John Deere neighborhood. We spent about 2 or 3 years in there. We really had a heavy concentration.
I know there was some replaced in there, but there's just, you know, which I live in John Muir.
No,
But, you know, like St. Agnes and Western, those kind of things. I just thought something to make it improve in the meantime until it can be completely replaced. It's just a thought, so.
yep.
But there's problems too sometimes even when you want to repave, because they say, well, now we have to put sewer in, you know.
That's a discussion we're going to be having
You
at some
know,
point.
it's
in
like,
the
wait a
future.
minute, we gotta do more, you know, on some of them.
Yes.
All the,
Okay, they both seconded my motion, so.
all the alignment places are on the east side, so that must say something about the streets. Just thought I'd throw an east sider in while you left. I'm on
Hey, you're
west
getting the
side.
dog park.
Okay, we have a
Sounds good to
motion, we have a second
Yeah, the
to
dog
receive and
park.
place on file,
Maybe
correct?
we can fill in
Yes.
the cracks with.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Next Improvement and Services Committee meeting is September 27th, 2023. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Is that
Motion
after?
to
Oh, do we have a
adjourn.
public hearing?
No, we don't have a
We
public
don't,
hearing.
all right, it says it. Motion to adjourn by
Me,
Axe, seconded by,
Let her do that too. Second.
seconded
I
by
can second
Campbell.
my own motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's passes. I do want to mention that 200